hope you're having an amazing day. So welcome to yoga with me, Hatha yoga teacher Lesley Wilson. So just running through a couple of things first of all. I am going to be taking you through a traditional Hatha yoga class, obviously a shorter one than would normally be. So, and this is what I say to everybody that takes part in these sessions. If you are new to yoga, or if you haven't done yoga with me before, particularly in a face-to-face class, then just be really careful, be very mindful. If I ask you to hold a stretch for too long and it becomes uncomfortable, then just come out. Also, if I ask you to do something that your body really isn't comfortable with, then just don't do it. You know, there is no need there's no need to hurt yourself. Anyway, I can see a few people are popping on. So I'm going to go get started. Okay, thank you for joining me. Thank you for dragging yourself out the beautiful sunshine. Okay, so we'll begin with our traditional greeting, Namaste, and welcome. So if anyone has any questions or comments, please feel free to pop them in the box. I now can't see them because I'm too far away, but I will get back to you and answer anything that you may need to know after the session. If someone could just send me a thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me okay, that would be awesome. And yeah, so we're going to begin with some pranayama, some breathing. So our breathing is really important in yoga. It kind of is really the centre of everything that we do. And we're going to be working with Nadi Shodhana pranayama today, which is alternate nostril breathing. Now, if you're new to yoga, you're going to be thinking, how on earth am I going to do that? Don't worry, it's actually easier than it looks. So we use the hands, and we use hasta mudras or gestures when we're in yoga. So we're going to bring the left hand into chin mudra. Let me just run through how comfortable you are. So you don't have to be seated cross-legged, okay? It's absolutely fine. If that's not comfortable for you, then just extend both the legs, nice big space between the heels. Feel free to support the back with a wall, or you can sit in a chair or against the back of the bed, just depending on wherever you're working. And the trick is to keep the back nice and straight, because obviously if you fold over, then you're going to be you know, sort of, I can't think of the word, sorry, you're going to be lessening your lung functionality and capacity. So really important that we keep the spine straight. So to work with alternate nostril breathing, which is really, really good for balancing the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, really good for stress, good for really calming. So we're going to bring the left hand into chin mudra. So that's the first finger and the thumb connected together, and then extending away the other three fingers. And then the right hand, we're going to have Nasagra mudra. So that's the index finger and the middle finger, and we just pop them gently on the eyebrow centre. So if this right arm starts to get tired, rather than allowing the body to collapse, release the left hand and support the elbow with the left hand, and then that will stop you from folding forwards. That will help you keep the spine nice and upright. Okay, so we're going to be using the thumb to close the right nostril, and the ring finger on the right hand is going to close the left nostril, obviously not both at the same time. And I do apologise to my regulars, I say that all the time. So, lifting the crown of the head, straightening the spine, let's just gently close the eyes. I'm going to talk you in for a few rounds, and then I'll leave you to work with it at your own pace. So just take a breath in through both nostrils. And then breathe out fully through both nostrils. Use the thumb to close the right nostril, breathe in through the left. Close the left nostril, open the right and breathe out. Breathe in through the right nostril. Close the right nostril, open left and breathe out. Breathe in left. Close left, open right and breathe out. Breathe in right. Close right, open left and breathe out. So I'm going to leave you to work with this at your own pace now. And then no need to rush or hurry, but the next time that you breathe out through the left nostril, you can release Nadi Shodhana Pranayama with this alternate nostril breathing practice. But remember, you can come back to that at any time. So if you start to feel a bit stressed or a bit anxious, you can work with that to help just bring you back down, bring you into the present moment, and hopefully make you feel a bit better. Okay, so releasing the mudras with the hands, and then we're going to come down onto the mat for a short relaxation. So coming into what we call Shavasana, or relaxation posture. So stretching away the legs as long as the lower back allows. Have a nice big space between the heels. Legs are nice and relaxed, so just allow those feet to just flop apart. So if that's not comfortable for you, pinching in the lower back or anything, feel free to bend the knees, but make sure you take the feet nice and wide. Allow those knees to just fall in together, so the legs are still nice and relaxed. So arms resting a little way away from the sides of the body, palms turned up towards the ceiling. The hands are nice and relaxed, so the fingers are just lightly curled. And then if the neck is able, you can lift the head, look down the centre of the body, lay the head back down on the mat. And then that just lengthens the back of the neck, tucks in the chin, brings the head into alignment with the spine. And then you can close the eyes if you haven't already done so. And let's just have a couple of nice, steady breaths here. So we're going to begin with our floor-based warm-ups and stretches now. So let's hug the knees in towards the chest. We'll clasp the hands around the outside of the knees. We're going to start easing out the back, just rocking gently from side to side. Head and knees going in the same direction at the moment. So the back is supported by the floor, so it's perfectly safe. And then we're just giving that spine a gentle massage. Under normal circumstances, I'd say we'd be easing away any tension, but if you've been taking part in the festival all day, you'll be so chilled, you won't have any tension. And then we can start easing out the neck, so still rocking from side to side, but with the head going in one direction now and knees in the other. Remember, just working with your own body's limitations or capabilities. And then let's bring the head and knees back to centre. We're going to start to warm up the hips, so keep the knees bent. Place the two hands on the kneecaps with both knees going in the same direction. We're going to circle the knees, so try and keep those circles nice and smooth and slow. So just warming up the hips, the lower abdomen, the lower spine, and then we can go back in the opposite direction. And then we can still circle the knees, but now let's send them off in opposite directions. Try and keep them nice and slow, going as wide as you can, so you're really opening up the hips. Okay, so come on back to centre. Let's just pop the feet down on the mat now with the heels nice and close in towards the body, making sure that the feet are hip width apart and the heels are underneath the buttocks. We're going to bring the arms down by the sides of the body now, palms facing down towards the ceiling. We're just going to warm up the spine with a gentle pelvic tilt. So this is a very small movement, just the rocking backwards and forwards of the pelvis with the breath. So breathing out first of all, round the spine, bring the pelvis forwards, push the back of the waist into the mat. Breathing in as you arch the spine, so the pelvis tilts backwards, lifting the back of the waist up now. So breathing out as you round the spine, pelvis comes forwards. Breathing in as you arch the spine and the pelvis comes back. Breathing out, rounding. And breathing in, arching. And you can work with the eyes open or closed, whichever is your preference. And then just going to leave you to work with this for a little bit, with your own breathing rate, because it's probably different from mine. And then we can release this activity with the spine and come into a neutral position. So we're going to move on now to work with something slightly stronger called the bridge, and then move into the flowing bridge. That's really important that when you work with the bridge and the flowing bridge that you keep the face looking up towards the ceiling. So if this is a new thing for you today and you haven't tried this before, watch me do around and then you can join in, but keep the face looking up to the ceiling. So arms resting down by the sides of the body, palms facing downwards, knees are still bent. And the next time that you take a breath in, push down on the soles of the feet, the backs of the arms and the shoulder blades, lifting the hips up as high as you can. So you'll feel that up the front of the thighs, in the glutes and in the lower back. And then when it's time for you to breathe out, you can lower the hips back down to the mat, just rolling the spine down one vertebra at a time, but keep looking up at the ceiling. Breathing in, lifting up, try and make it a little bit higher, feeling it in the glutes and the thighs, and then breathing out, rolling smoothly down. So breathing in as you lift up, nice and strong, and breathing out, rolling smoothly down. So I'm just going to leave you to work with a few more of these with your own breath. And again, eyes can be open or closed, whichever is your preference. And then we're going to move on now and add something extra. So next time that you breathe in and lift the hips up, float the hands up towards the ceiling and then take them all the way back behind you. And then when you breathe out and lower the hips, you can float the arms back down by the sides of the body. So breathing in, stretching up, lifting up, arms up and back. And breathing out, floating everything slowly back down with control. Try and bring the hands and the hips to the mat at the same time. Don't worry if you can't. So breathing in, lifting, arms up and back. And then breathing out, lowering everything gently back down. So I'm just going to let you work with a few more of those with your own breath. And then no need to rush or hurry, but the next time that you breathe out and lower the arms and lower the hips, you can release this activity. We're going to keep the knees bent. We're going to work with a hip opener. So if you have finished, we can bring the right foot now, place the outer edge of the right foot on the left thigh. So if you're able to lift the head, you'll see a triangle gap. Pop the right hand through the triangle gap, then we're going to join the hands together around the back of the left thigh. From here we rest the head down on the mat, draw the thigh in towards the chest. Now you might find that you're here and that's enough for you, that's absolutely fine. So just keep breathing, remember to keep breathing. And then we'll release and swap sides. So place the right foot down on the mat. We're going to bring the outer edge of the left foot now and place it on the right thigh. Again, lift the head. This time, it's the left hand that goes through the triangle gap. Join the hands together around the back of the right thigh, and then rest the head back down on the mat. Draw the right thigh in towards the chest. So you're opening up the left hip, and you're also getting a nice stretch on that piriformis muscle on the left side. And just a few breaths here. And then we can release that right leg. So bring both the feet back down onto the mat with the heels underneath the buttocks. So we're going to work with a spinal twist now. So if you've got the space, take the arms out wide at right angles to the sides of the body. Don't worry if you haven't got space, just bend the elbows, take the arms to 90 degrees. Okay, so you can either keep the feet on the mat for this, Or if you prefer, you can hug the knees in towards the chest a little bit closer. It's totally up to you. So let's take a breath in whilst we're here. And then as you breathe out, take the knees over to the right. And then if that feels okay for the neck and spine, you can turn the face to the left and just hold it there. Don't forget to keep breathing. And then take a breath in, come all the way back to the centre. And then as you breathe out, take the knees over to the left and turn the face to the right. Just keep breathing. And then take a breath in, bring the head and knees back to centre. We'll do one more to each side, so breathing out, knees over to the right and face back to the left. A few breaths. And then breath in, come back to centre. Breathing out, take the knees back over to the left and turn the face to the right. And take a breath in, come back to centre. So we're going to stretch the legs away now and then bring the arms back down by the sides of the body. So we're going to do a little floor-based sequence, which is perfectly safe as you're supported by the floor. This is called cross-crawling. So next time you take a breath in, float the hands up towards the ceiling, take them all the way back to the wall behind you, nice big stretch. Breathing out, take the hands up to the ceiling and just pause there. As you breathe in, take the arms out wide at right angles to the sides of the body. Breathing out, take the arms all the way across. Open up the shoulder blades, give yourself a nice big hug. Breathing in, take the arms out wide at right angles once again. As you breathe out, give yourselves another hug, other arm on top this time. Breathing in, take the hands up to the ceiling and pause there. Breathing out, float the arms back down to starting position. Breathing in, just the arms, take them up and back. Breathing out, hug the right knee in towards the chest, clasp the hands around the shin and squeeze. Breath in, take the right leg up to the ceiling, take the arms up and back behind you. And as you breathe out, lower all three limbs back down to starting position. Now if that's too strong for the abs, bend the knees as you lower them. Breath in, just the arms, take them up and back. Breathing out, hug the left knee in towards the chest, clasp the hands around the shin and squeeze. Breath in, left leg up to the ceiling, arms up and back. And breathing out, floating all three limbs back down. Breath in, just the arms, take them up and back. Breathing out, hug both knees in towards the chest, clasp the hands around the shins and squeeze. Breath in, both legs up to the ceiling, arms up and back behind you. And breathing out, floating all four limbs back down. Breath in, just the arms, take them up and back. Breathing out, hug the right knee in towards the chest. If the neck allows, lift the head, bring the nose towards the knee. Breath in, right leg up to the ceiling, arms up and back behind you. And breathing out, floating all three limbs back down. Breath in, just the arms, take them up and back. Breathing out, hug the left knee in towards the chest, lift the head, nose towards the knee. Breath in, left leg up to the ceiling, arms up and back behind you. And breathing out, floating all three limbs back down. Breath in, just the arms, take them up and back. Breathing out, hug both knees in towards the chest, nose between the knees. Breath in, both legs up to the ceiling, arms up and back. And breathing out, floating all four limbs back down. We'll do one more round. Breath in, just the arms, take them up and back. Breathing out, hug the right knee in towards the chest, nose towards the knee. Breath in, leg up to the ceiling, arms up and back. And breathing out, floating all three limbs back down. Breath in, just the arms, take them up and back. Breathing out, hug the left knee in towards the chest, nose towards the knee. Breath in, leg up to the ceiling, arms up and back. And breathing out, floating all three limbs back down. Breath in, just the arms, take them up and back. Breathing out, hug both knees in towards the chest, nose between the knees. Breath in, legs up to the ceiling, arms up and back. And breathing out, floating all four limbs back down. So you can give the legs a little shake now. So we'll hug the knees in towards the chest. We're going to clasp the hands underneath the knees this time. And if it feels okay for your back and you don't have any coccyx issues, we can rock backwards and forwards a few times, just easing out the back. Now, if this is not for you, just rock from side to side as we did at the beginning. But I think this does something to my inner child, rocking backwards and forwards. So it's a regular part of my practice. Okay, and then we can come up to a seated position. So I'm going to turn around so you guys can see me. So we're going to either come into a cross-leg position, as I've said before. If that doesn't suit you, then just have the legs extended, nice big space between the heels. I'm going to come back into cross-leg because, funny enough, I spend quite a lot of time sitting like this. So we're going to work with a side stretch first of all, which is really good for the obliques and it's also good for the digestive system. So we'll bring the left hand and place it in the left hip crease. And then we're going to bring this right arm out to the side on the floor or the mat. So breath in, straighten the spine, lift the crown of the head. As you breathe out, start to slide that right hand away. Now you might be here and that's enough for you. I've got incredibly long arms so my elbow reaches the floor. So the most important thing with these side stretches is that you keep that opposite shoulder back. So the upper shoulder, the left shoulder needs to stay back. If the neck allows, you can look up at the ceiling, but if that's uncomfortable, just look into the centre of the room. Finally, if you wish to, if you've no shoulder issues, you can release that left arm, bring it across the top of the head. So keep the arms straight, otherwise it's not quite the same. And just a couple of breaths here. So really, really good stretch down the left side of the body and all the internal organs are getting a little massage on the right hand side, which is good for the digestive system. Take a breath in, come all the way up to centre. Let's bring the right hand into the right hip crease. Left hand comes down on the mat beside me. Breath in, straighten the spine, lift the head. As you breathe out, slide that left hand away. Keep the right shoulder back, looking up if the neck allows. Try and imagine you're all trying to point the right side of the chest at the ceiling. Release the right arm, bring it up and across. Keep that arm nice and straight. And keeping the head wherever it's comfortable for the neck. And then take a breath in, come all the way back to centre. We're going to work with a twist now. So let's bring the right hand down behind the right hip. Place the left hand on the right knee. So we twist from the waist first when we twist in yoga. So it's the waist, then the chest and shoulders, and then the head is the last thing to turn. So we'll take a breath in, straighten the spine. As we breathe out, twisting the waist, chest, shoulders, and the head. Turn to look over the right shoulder. Just hold it there, keep breathing. And then take a breath in, come all the way back to centre. So we're going to do the same on the other side now. Left hand comes down behind the left hip, and then the right hand will come and rest on the left knee. So take a breath in, straighten the spine, breathing out, twist from the waist. Once again, turn to look over the left shoulder, just hold it there, keep breathing. And then take a breath in, come all the way back round to centre. So if you've been cross-legged, you can uncross them now. We're going to work with a hamstring stretch, head to knee pose. So we'll be stretching out over the left leg first of all. So we're going to bring the right foot into the groin, allow that right knee to drop out to the side now. If that's not comfortable for you, once again, have both the legs extended, but make sure that you've got a nice big space between the heels, as this will protect your lower back. Okay, so I'm going to bring that right foot in, come up onto the sit bones, have the left toes pointing up towards the ceiling, hands resting on the left leg. So once again, take a breath in, straighten the spine. As you breathe out, start to ease the left side of the chest down towards the left thigh. Now you might get here, and that will be enough for you. As long as you're feeling a stretch up the back of the left thigh, then you know it's working. So quite often I see people kind of trying to fold forward from the waist. You want to try and hinge from the hips, because that will, so if you imagine you're trying to keep your spine nice and straight, and if it helps, you can keep the chin lifted. So just having a stretch up the back of the left thigh. And it isn't necessary to be able to kiss your knee or anything ridiculous like that. As long as you're getting that stretch up the back of the left thigh, then you know that you're working in the right way. Okay. So take a breath in, slowly come back up. So we're going to keep that right leg where it is, and if it's extended out to the side, it's fine, it doesn't matter, you can still join in with the next posture. We're going to move on to work with the heron. So we're going to bring that left foot in towards us, clasp the hands around the sole of the left foot, and then extend the left leg out in front of us. Now try not to let the spine collapse. It's really easy to try to kind of round the back. You want to try and keep the spine as upright as you can. Okay, and then we're going to extend that left leg out in front of us. We're going to work with another twist. So bring the right knee up. So we're going to cross the legs over now. Bring the right foot so it's on the outer edge of the left leg. So we're going to keep that left leg extended. Bring the right hand down behind the right hip and hug that left arm around the right knee. So remember, twisting from the waist first. Take a breath in, straighten the spine. Breathing out, twisting from the waist. Turn to look over the right shoulder, just hold it there. Couple of breaths. And then take a breath in and come all the way back round to centre. So we'll uncross the legs, give them a little bounce or a little roll. We're going to do the same on the other side, so we'll extend the right leg out in front of us this time. And either bring the left foot in nice and close to the groin, allowing that left knee to drop out to the side, or again, both legs extended and a nice big space between the heels. Look after that lower back. So make sure you come onto the sit bones. You want the right toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Hands resting on the right leg. Breath in, straighten the spine, lift the crown of the head. Breathing out, starting to ease the right side of the chest down towards the right thigh. And then it's important to keep breathing. And remember, try and fold forward from the hips as opposed to the waist. Keep the head lifted if you need to. So just keep breathing. Imagine the spine is lengthening with every in-breath. And then maybe the exhalation will help you soften down just a little bit more. Or maybe it won't, doesn't matter. Okay, then take a breath in, slowly come on up. So let's draw this right foot in towards us now. Clasp the hands around the sole of the right foot and extend the right leg out in front. Remember not to let the spine collapse. I just felt mine go a bit rounded, so it reminded me to stay. And then bend the right leg. Extend the right leg out away from you once again. And then bring the left foot and place it on the outer edge of the right leg. So we're going to bring the left hand down behind the left hip and wrap that right arm around the left knee. Take a breath in, straighten the spine. Breathing out, twisting from the waist. Bring the chest round, head looks over the left shoulder. Just hold it there. And remember to breathe. And then take a breath in, come all the way back to centre. Stretch away both the legs now, let's give them a little bounce. Okay, so we're going to come into the pose of the cat. You don't have to come in like that. You can come onto the hands and knees however is comfortable. So it's really important to protect the wrists when we're working with any of these weight-bearing postures. So making sure that the fingers are spread nice and wide, hands underneath the shoulders, but don't just put all the pressure on the wrist. What you really want to do is have the hands so the weight is evenly distributed throughout the whole of the hand. And then we'll have the knees underneath the hips, and then from here we're just going to warm up the spine with a bit of cat stretch and breath. So as you breathe out, round the spine, bring the chin towards the chest. And then as you breathe in, dip the waist, lift the head, lift the tailbone. So breathing out, rounding the spine. Breathing in, arching. And then just continue in this way as you breathe out, round the spine, chin towards the chest. And breathing in, arching. Head and tailbone come up. And then just continue in this way with your own breathing. And feel free to close the eyes if you wish to. It kind of turns it into a moving meditation. Okay, then coming into flat-backed cat on neutral position. So we're going to work with a little vinyasa flow. We can sit back on the heels. If that's not comfortable for you, by the way, I know it kills my husband. Well, not literally, but so you can come up onto the knees. So I'm going to talk us through a little vinyasa flow. So vinyasa flow just basically means a group of postures that flow really nicely together. So pretty safe for everyone to do. Not very strenuous, but it is a lovely, lovely little sequence. So I really like it, and hopefully you will too. So we're going to begin with the hands in Anjali Mudra, prayer position at the heart center. So joining the hands together. Then as we take a breath in, let's come up onto the knees, stretch the hands all the way up to the ceiling. And then as you breathe out, if you're able to, sit down on the heels, stretch the hands away. Maybe the forehead will come to the mat. So this is a modified pose of swan. As you take a breath in, come up into the pose of the cat. From here, separate the feet, tuck the toes under, straighten the legs into downward facing dog. Breath in, come back onto the knees. As you breathe out, sit back into the swan once again. When you breathe in, come up onto the knees, bring the palms of the hands back together, and breathing out, back to starting position. Okay, let's do another one. Breath in to come up. And breathing out, stretch away the hands, bring the head to the mat if you can, and don't worry if you can't, into pose of swan. As you breathe in, come up into the cat. Separate the feet, tuck the toes under, breathe out into downward facing dog. Breath in, back into cat on the knees. Breathing out into swan, so sit back on the heels. Breath in, come all the way up, bring the palms of the hands together, and breathing out, back to starting position. We'll do another one. So breath in to come up. Breathing out, coming into swan. So sit back on the heels, forehead to the mat. Breath in, up onto the hands and knees into cat. Separate the feet, tuck the toes under, push back into down dog. Breath in, back onto the knees into cat. Breathing out into swan. So sit back on the heels, forehead to the mat. Breath in as you come all the way up, stretch the hands up, palms together, and breathing out, prayer position. Okay, beautiful little vinyasa flow there. So we're going to come up into a little squat. So again, if that's really difficult for you, then you can just work on the knees. So let's see if we can come into a little balance, bring the hands back into prayer position at the heart center. Okay. So let's see how good we are. We can twist the upper body around to the right. And then come back to centre. And then round to the left. And then back to centre. Back round to the right. Back to centre. And back round to the left. And back to centre. Wibbly wobbly. Take the hands out in front. And then we're going to come up to stand. So give the legs a little shake now. Okay, so let's take the feet so that they're hip width apart. Lift all the toes up if you've got no socks on. Spread them out and then lay them all back down on the mat. So roll the shoulders back, lift the crown of the head. Try and imagine the shoulder blades are just melting, moving in towards each other, sliding down the spine. So tucking in the pelvis, the pubic bone, the abdomen, lifting the crown of the head. Arms are just hanging gently at the sides of the body as we come into Tadasana, our mountain pose. And traditionally this is taught with the eyes open, but sometimes it's quite nice just to close the eyes, just and have a few breaths here. And then open the eyes if you've had them closed. Bring the hands together now, interlace the fingers and just pop them on the top of the head. Okay, so spreading the toes out again if you need to. And then as you breathe in, stretch away the backs of the hands, come up onto tiptoes. So really reaching away the backs of those hands. And then when you breathe out, lower the hands back down to the head and lower the heels. So breathing in, lifting up onto tiptoes, stretching those hands away. And breathing out, coming down. We'll do one more. Breath in, come up. And let's try and hold the tiptoes now as you continue to breathe. If you've got really thick, shaggy carpet, this is going to be really hard for you, so I apologise. Okay, and then coming down on an exhalation. Let the hands go, give the arms a little shake. So we're going to work with a balance. So a really traditional Hatha yoga balance, Friksasana, the tree. So there are various foot positions with the tree, and if you've got a wall near you or the back of a chair, if you know your balance isn't very good, please feel free to hang on to something, but do still take part because you'll still get some of the benefits of the balance. So how it will work is that you're still getting the strengthening aspect in the balancing leg, even though you're holding on to something. So don't feel excluded if you know your balance is shocking. Mine varies from day to day. It's better in the morning, so let's see how it goes this afternoon. So we're going to, excuse me, we're going to be taking the weight down through, quite a little tickle now, taking the weight down through the left foot. So try and imagine that you're making a connection to the earth through that left foot, spreading the roots down into the ground. And then if you know that your balance isn't great, but you want to work freestanding, you can just place the heel of the right foot on top of the left foot, or you can place the ball of the foot on top. If you're feeling a little bit confident, you think, yeah, I've got this, then you can bring that right foot and place it against the lower left leg. Try and avoid the knee joint because that can cause damage to the knee. If you're feeling super confident, I'm not sure how this is going to work, but you can bring that foot further up. So the important thing with this is to bring the hands into prayer position at the heart centre. If you push on the breastbone, that will give you a bit more stability, apparently. And then if you get to your leg position and you feel really confident, if you wish to, you can grow the branches of your tree. So take the weight down through the left foot first of all. Try and find something to look at that isn't moving, so it's probably not going to be me. And then placing the right foot where it feels right for you. Keep the right knee out to the side if you've got the right leg on the right foot on the leg, and then we can just grow our tree branches. Oh, nearly. So it's a bit windy in my forest. Okay, keep breathing. And then just gently coming down, or being feathered if that's preferable. So taking the weight down through the right foot this time, and wherever you had the right foot, that's where you want the left foot so that you're evenly balanced. And then I'm going to grow the branches of my tree. You don't have to do that, you can keep your hands in prayer position at the heart centre if that feels better for you. Try and keep that left knee out to the side. Really good for focus, concentration, and then just coming all the way back down. So give the legs a little shake. I'm mindful that I don't want to go over for the next person, so come back into a seated position, and then we're just going to roll the shoulders a couple of times, and then back the other way. Okay, so relax the shoulders down. Take a big breath in and squeeze the shoulders up close to the ears, nice and tight. And then big old sighs, you let them fall away. Breath in and squeeze. One more time, breath in and squeeze. Take the chin down to the chest. Take the chin up to the right shoulder. Back down to the chest. Up to the left shoulder. Back down to the chest. Back up to the right shoulder. Back down to the chest. And back up to the left shoulder. Back down to the chest, lift the head. Take the right ear over to the right shoulder, come back to centre, left ear to left shoulder, back to centre, right ear to right shoulder, back to centre, left ear to left shoulder, back to centre, turn the face all the way around to the right, back to centre, all the way around to the left, back to centre, back round to the right again, and back to centre, and back round to the left, and back to centre. Okay, so I'd like you to make your way down onto the mat, coming back into Shavasana, your relaxation posture. So just lying down, making sure that you're nice and comfortable. So you can either have the legs stretched away, nice big space between the heels, allowing those feet to flop apart. Remember, if we've got any pinching in the lower back, then bend the knees, take the feet nice and wide and allow the knees to just fall in together. Arms resting a little way away from the sides of the body, palms turned up towards the ceiling, fingers lightly curled. Back of the neck is long, chin is tucked in, eyes gently closed if you haven't already done so. And then just taking the awareness to the breath. So no need to control or count the breath. Just allow it to occur naturally, flowing smoothly in and out through the nostrils at your own breathing rate. And then just becoming aware of all the physical aspects of the breath. So maybe just tuning into the belly. Maybe the belly is rising and falling with every breath. Maybe the rib cage, you can feel the ribs expanding and contracting as you continue to breathe. And then the top chest, the clavicular area. Can you feel the gentle rise and fall of the top chest? And then taking the awareness to the nostrils and just noticing the sensation of the cool air as it enters the body. Not so evident as you exhale. So breathing in and taking in a nice steady breath. So that fresh air is coming into the body to revitalise and nourish all the internal organs. Filling the body with prana, life force, energy. So just checking in with the body. How does the body feel? Just becoming aware of all the physical meeting points between your body and the mat. And so it's nearly time to end this short relaxation. So we're just going to start to gently wake the body up. So maybe wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. And then slightly larger movements, perhaps circling the ankles and circling the wrists. So we can wake up the neck and roll the head from side to side a couple of times. And you might even fancy a stretch and a yawn. And then just keeping the eyes closed, rolling onto your preferred side and just stay there for a couple more breaths. And then in your own way, making your way up to a seated position. And so we'll finish. Om Shanti. And thank you. Thank you for joining me. So up next you have the lovely Helen with a beautiful meditation, and remember these all of these activities are going to be saved onto this page. So I'm going to go and obviously make way for Helen. So if you need to go, spend a penny, grab a glass of water. I wouldn't recommend making a cup of tea because you won't have time to drink it before Helen's meditation and you really don't want to miss it. Okay, so thank you so much. And enjoy the rest of the day. Take care. Bye.